Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I recorded a portion of a talk. It's from the branch office letting Jehovah's Witnesses to know how critical and the warning signs of natural disasters, and they used the one Katrina by a man that felt, since he survived several hurricanes in that area where he lived, this one he could ride out too. Well, he found out something different. Next time he learned from this experience that it pays when it comes to your life. Don't assume you are safe. And in this portion, it's telling Jehovah's Witnesses the different disasters, which for me is hurricanes, and we got major lightning storms that pretty awesome but deadly. I've seen a bunch of those electrical storms where I live, and trust me, it don't pay to go outside and play around with lightning flying all over the place. Even Hawaii has their issue, 1% of their island of a volcano, but it's doing major damage. They wiped out a bunch of homes and all of that. So Watchtower is showing their love and compassion to tell Jehovah's Witnesses, basically, you need to basically keep up with the warning signs on the news, the media, your elders. But the elders has to do the same thing to check the news and all that. It's not like Watchtower has their own news station, and it branch out into all over the world telling when a nasty disaster is about ready to hit. That's where witnesses has to use their common sense of finding the real truth when a major storm or anything is about ready to erupt or about ready to explode. So I'd like for y'all to watch that, and then after that I will give you my thoughts on something else.
August 24th, 2005 was a typical hot and humid day in New Orleans. Now, Joe, one of Jehovah's Witnesses, was closely watching the news as reports of major hurricanes seemed to appear heading towards the city of New Orleans in just a few days. The news kept on reporting that the city of New Orleans was going to be hit directly by Hurricane Katrina. The authorities were urging people to get themselves ready for evacuation. Now, Joe didn't think it was that serious. He decided to stay and ride it out. He was convinced that the storm would not be too bad, that it wouldn't hit his home. He reasoned that the damage done from previous hurricanes had not been as bad as authorities had predicted. He said, I reckoned I could survive. Then he said how quickly my opinion changed. The winds and the rain came with a fury. In next to no time, the roof was ripped off of my home. Then the water started to rise at a terrifying rate, 10 feet in 3 hours. It was coming in so fast that I had to go up to the second floor. He then says the ceilings then began to fall down. Now I was trying to figure out how to escape. Well, eventually a boat rescued Joe and left him on higher ground. But in retrospect, Joe realizes that this ordeal could have been avoided. He said, I have learned my lesson. The next time they say evacuate, I'll be the first one out. You know, each year, millions of people around the world, including many of our brothers and sisters, are affected by some sort of disaster. There's earthquakes, tsunamis, tornadoes, floods, and just recently volcano eruptions, and yes, one that we know so well, hurricanes. Are you ready? As many of us know, a natural disaster like a hurricane can come unexpectedly. So with that being said, it is the true course of wisdom that we are all prepared. Proverbs chapter 21 verse 5 reminds us that the plans of the diligent one surely leads to success. So it's important that all of us are prepared. And with just a few days into hurricane season, can we all honestly say that we are ready? Well, if you answered no, or you answered you're unsure as to how to get ready, or you're not completely what you need, you don't know exactly what you need in order to be prepared, well, here are just some good reminders that the branch would like for us to consider as a congregation. So first of all, what is needed for us to be prepared? Number one, have important documents ready just in case you need to evacuate suddenly. Now, many times the authorities are able to warn of impending disasters. It's important that we pay attention to those warnings. See, in the example of Joe, he suffered the consequences of not heeding those warnings. So make sure that we pay attention to what the authorities are advising. Number two, have a 3 to 5 day supply of emergency items, such as batteries, flashlights, food, medication, and safe drinking water that can be easily taken if you needed to evacuate. 3, be prepared to evacuate and know where to go. Now, this calls for prior planning. It's advisable, perhaps, that maybe you can make that one of your family worship projects. Discuss as a family where you'll go if you ever need to evacuate suddenly. Discuss your plans as a family. 4, follow the directions of your local authorities and the elders. You know, many times your group overseer will try to contact everyone in his group to help them make the necessary preparations. Please work with your group overseer. The elders are only concerned about your safety, of you, and your family. So with that in mind, it's crucial that your group overseer has all your most current information for his record. Now, this would include your most recent and up-to-date phone numbers, addresses, all of your contact information, which may also include your email address, your cell phone number, just in case he may need to contact you via texting. Also, provide the name and address of a relative or a friend of someone who does not live in the vicinity and who should be contacted just in case of an emergency. Now, you may be asking, well, why does my group overseer need all of this information? Well, last year, we were hit with a heavy-duty hurricane, in which many of us did not expect to hit us directly. However, as many of us know, we were hit pretty bad. Many of us lost power. We had damages maybe done to our home. It was just a complete mess. Now, afterwards, the elders had to scramble around and contact all of you brothers and sisters to make sure that you were all okay. Why? Well, the first reason, obviously, was just that, to make sure that you were okay. But also, as part of the arrangement that the branch has in place, we have to contact the circuit overseer and account for each of you brothers and sisters, and then report back to him if anything serious has occurred. So that's why we need to make sure that we need your most recent and up-to-date information.
Well, you see, Watchtower tries to prepare them by make sure the providing overseer, the elders have their phone numbers, email address, and things like that. But the thing is, what is the natural disasters that is affecting all Jehovah's Witnesses worldwide? Is it more dangerous than the hurricane, tornadoes, lava, lightning storms? But the natural disaster I want to bring out, Watchtower will keep the elders from telling you to be prepared, telling you to stay away from the news and the authorities when they try to warn you about these natural disasters. So I'm going to play 3 clips of natural disasters is rocking the world, Jehovah's Witnesses. Then you tell me in your comments, if Watchtower truly prepared Jehovah's Witnesses for some natural disasters before it happened, how come they don't prepare them on these natural disasters? And they just trying to sweep it underneath the carpet? Because when I learned about these natural disasters, it scared me. I was really frightened. And you would never hear this on the stage in any kingdom hall or any experience of these type of natural disasters announced in any kingdom halls. So to me, some of these natural disasters you can walk away from because you are prepared and have warning signs. Well, what is the warning signs? The ones I'm going to show you. The Watchtower never really showed anyone the truth to prepare them to save their lives. See, these natural disasters I'm going to show you, people has died, has been murdered, lost their loved ones, but they now allow the news media to warn them. So sit back, enjoy, and tell me what your thoughts are. Do you see the double standard from the talk of theirs? Leaders is helping them and not helping them when the true disasters is attacking, destroying Jehovah's Witnesses. So thank you very much, and y'all have a wonderful day. And like I said, I got 3 small videos, and please be prepared and think about it. Where is the love, compassion, and the warning signs for these natural disasters that is actually scaring the hell out of people when they watch these? Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Do you recognize, Mr. Jackson, and in asking this question, let me make it clear, I'm not suggesting it's peculiar to the Jehovah's Witness organization. There are many, many organizations in this position. But do you accept that the Jehovah's Witness organization has a problem with child abuse amongst its members?
I accept that child abuse is a problem right throughout the community, and it's something that we've had to deal with as well.
And do you accept that it's presented, I withdraw that, do you accept that the manner in which your organization has dealt with allegations of child sexual abuse has also presented problems?
There have been changes in policies over the last 20 or 30 years where we've tried to address some of those problem areas, and by the fact that we've changed the policy would indicate that the original policies weren't perfect.
And you accept, of course, that your organization, including people in positions of responsibility like elders, are not immune from the problem of child sexual abuse?
That appears to be the case.
And do you accept, Mr. Jackson, that many of the efforts that are being made by different people and organizations to highlight the issue of child sexual abuse and try and find solutions are genuine efforts to improve the situation?
I do accept that, and that's why I'm happy to testify.
And that such efforts are not necessarily an attack on your organization or its system of beliefs?
We understand that too.
You described earlier in your testimony that the work of this Royal Commission is beneficial. Do you accept then that the Royal Commission's efforts are genuine and well-intentioned?
I certainly do. And that's why we came into the Royal Commission hoping that collectively something would come forward that would help us as well as everybody else.
And would you disagree then with anyone who said that the efforts to highlight and deal with child sexual abuse in the Jehovah's Witness Church is engaging in apostate lies?
I guess that's a broad question, because sometimes those who make these accusations make many other accusations as well. But let me assure you, the person making the accusation is not the main thing. The main thing is there some basis to the accusation? And if there is some way that we can improve, the governing body is always interested in seeing how we can refine our policies. You see, Mr. Stewart, could I just emphasize, as a religion, two very strong things we feel. One is we try to keep a high moral standard, and secondly, there's love among the organization. So we want to treat victims in a loving way.
This is a $66 million class action lawsuit that's been filed against a religious organization best known for its door-to-door proselytizing. The Jehovah's Witnesses accused of having rules and policies that protect child sex abusers and put children in harm's way.
This is an issue that the wider communities should be concerned with as a result of their procedures when abuse allegations come forward. These sexual offenders are left at large in the communities. And as most people know about Jehovah's Witnesses, they're the ones that come to your door on Saturday morning when your kids are home.
Tricia says her first 14 years of life as a Jehovah's Witness was filled with sexual abuse that was ignored and covered up by the religious organization she has now left. This $66 million class action lawsuit has now been filed on behalf of alleged child sex abuse victims across the country, claiming this. The organization's policy and protocol for dealing with allegations of sexual abuse is seriously flawed and results in further harm to victims of sexual abuse and results in legitimate allegations of sexual abuse going unreported. Specifically named in the suit is what's called the two-witness rule.
They're expected to produce two credible eyewitnesses to their assault or to their abuse. And by credible eyewitness, I mean the eyewitnesses not only have to be other Jehovah's Witnesses that saw it occur, but have to be Jehovah's Witnesses in good standing in the church. So this obviously never happens.
The suit also alleges that police are not called when allegations surface, but are instead handled by JW elders inside Kingdom Hall. The claim, so far untested in court, alleges this. For decades, the organization has received thousands of reports of sexual abuse, including child sex abuse, and has failed to investigate and or report the abuse to secular authorities, even where required by law. Is it the assertion of this statement of claim, of this class action lawsuit, that the Jehovah's Witness organization deliberately protects child abusers?
It is our information based on people who contacted us that the systems in place don't guard against it happening, and then when allegations are raised, that adequate measures are in place to see that the complaint reaches public authorities.
Now, none of these allegations have been proven in court, and I did reach out to the Jehovah's Witnesses in Canada. They wouldn't comment specifically on the allegations in here, but they did in a statement tell me Jehovah's Witnesses abhor child abuse and would never shield any perpetrator. They go on to say that congregation elders comply with child abuse reporting laws.
The Abuse Royal Commission has exposed what might be the worst cultural sexual abuse and cover-up within a church that we've ever seen. That church is the Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, there were claims today that 1,000 paedophiles were protected, evidence against them deliberately destroyed, and not even a single case ever referred to the police. Daniel Sutton has the story.
Their World Convention last year may have filled a Melbourne footy stadium, but Australia only has about 70,000 Jehovah's Witnesses. Still, when the Royal Commission came knocking, it discovered the church also has a staggering 1,006 files on alleged pedophiles within its flock. And what's worse,
Not one was reported by the church to secular authorities.
the church's policy not to call police, but ask elders to investigate. One abuse survivor says that made her feel ashamed.
I found the experience of reporting my abuse to a room full of men, including the man who had abused me, very distressing.
Max Hawley was the elder in charge of her case. He took notes, but destroyed them to protect church wives.
And would you do the same thing today if someone came and reported to you a serious allegation of sexual assault? Would you destroy any notes?
Yes, that's our practice.
To take action, the church demanded either a confession or the testimony of two witnesses, a policy that meant 125 complaints never proceeded. For engaging in child sexual abuse, members can be disfellowshipped from the church, but the inquiry heard today of the 400 or so alleged pedophiles kicked out of the Jehovah's Witnesses, more than half were subsequently allowed back in. The Royal Commission says church elders may have concealed serious offences and could now face charges themselves. Daniel